Hello, and welcome back for this week's episode of Mindful Musics. It's going to be just me today, your host, Ashley. And look at this beautiful seashell. I had to show her off. So, one of the things that I really want to talk to you about is something that's near and dear to my heart. So I'm going to save it till the end. So finish this episode until the end to know what the dirty deeds on my life is. But without further ado, let me tell you how I know I quantum leapt. And I didn't know it, I didn't believe it until it happened. And this starts all the way back in 2023. I started practicing yoga after I am just freshly divorced. And it's because I didn't want to go back to the gym, but I had to start taking care of my body. The year before, I had gotten surgery on my cervix because my doctor had found T3 precancer cells. And that was a very traumatic experience for me. One of the things that he told me was to get rid of a lot of the stress in my life because my body is reacting to it. And so in my mind, I knew I had to get rid of the stress. I have known what stress does to the body for a really long time. There's now been 2 instances in my life where when I get so stressed, I lose my vision in one eye. And it's usually my left eye. And one time it was completely black, and the other time it was just really blurry. And it was, for most of the day, it was the scariest thing ever. And I started getting migraines, and my body started to break out in hives. Now that started back when I was 15, but it had taken a period off during my 20s where it didn't rear its ugly head. And then in my marriage, it really got bad. I was getting rashes behind my ear, on my neck. I would break out in hives when I'd bump into something. It got real bad. And ever since I started to lower my stress level, these things haven't come back. And these are indicators for my body for when I get stressed. So if I start to get a little itchy behind my ear and I start to feel a little bit of bumps, I know that my stress is way too high. I've got to start assessing the things in my life and bring that shit down. My body has always been affected by stress. It pretty much attacks itself. It really sucks. But it's also a blessing in disguise because I really have to take control of my life in those moments and think about what really matters. Now, when I was diving into yoga and when I was fresh out of divorce, I was in a super codependent relationship, and I've always been codependent in relationships. I was always the clingy girlfriend. I was always the one trying to text you all the time. I was always the one that I wanted you to want. Like, I was the pick-me girl, 100%. And that really stemmed from childhood trauma. And I started to realize that a lot of the decisions I made in my early 20s was due to a lack of self-love, confidence, value. I didn't find myself valuable at all. I had to be picked. I wasn't the one doing the picking, like, ever. And it was always a running joke in my life where it was like, oh, like daddy issues, right? And then I started to realize like how real that was. Now, my daddy issues began being healed when I turned 25. I moved in above my dad, and it was a really cool situation where he lived in the basement. Our family friend had converted it for him for like a 1-bedroom bachelor pad just for my dad. And then the upstairs housing area I got to live in. So it was really fucking cool. And I got really close to him, especially after I got divorced, and realized how unconditional love really felt, because I felt like no matter what I told him, I was wrapped in love. I'm not going to cry. I was wrapped in love. And hi, baby girl. I'm okay. You can come over here. And my sister's dog. And come here. Come say hello. Come here. Can you see her little head? Yep. This is Magnolia. Anyways, and the closer I got to my dad, the more that I really realized that I've known him for a really long time. At least it felt that way. Like, I've known him for a really long time. And I remember sitting down on the couch with him one time, and he said, I'm a fairly new soul on this planet, and I can tell that you're an old soul. You've been here a long time. I said, well, that's kind of deep, You're older than me, like you're my dad. But somehow I was like, yeah, okay. I've been told that I'm also before. Like, that's not news to me. That's not the first time I've heard that. I've been giving advice since I was like 8 or 9 years old to fucking adults. Like, even when I didn't understand what I was doing, it just felt right. Like, it felt like knowledge that, I don't know, I was supposed to give, even though I didn't really understand what I was saying. But, then when I got divorced, well, it was really when I decided I was going to get divorced. I went down to my dad to tell him because, unfortunately for me, my dad and my ex-husband, they were like this. And, are you going to say something? Okay, can I say something now? Okay. I don't know if you heard Magnolia's little sniffing, but she had something to say. It was very quiet. Anyways, I went down to tell him that I'm deciding to get divorced, and I was just bawling my eyes out at this point because I was so sad. Like, I was in love with my ex-husband, and he, in my eyes, was like my best friend. Sidebar: if you are or have been in a relationship with a narcissist, I want you to understand that they really study you, and they take all the best qualities that they see in you and they become those. Then you fall in love with them. And then when you're so comfortable and the trauma bond has been created and they think you're not going to go anywhere, the mask comes down. And I want you to realize that this is not your fault, but that you technically fell in love with all the best attributes that they saw in you, which means you fell in love with yourself. And when you start to turn that love back on yourself, it really does heal you in ways that nobody really teaches. So that's one of the things that I really teach in my inner child healing in my academy, because it worked for me. When that clicked for me in my head, and I was like, oh my God, like they just mimicked me. I fucking loved these things. The first year was amazing with this man. Like, I was on heaven, like the entire year. It was fucking nuts. Even though we had our little bad moments, I had so much fun. And even the second year, like, was so much fucking fun. We were living in Arizona. We were traveling all over the United States. It was a blast. As long as we were on the go. Once we were home, it was hell on earth. But that's another story. Anyway, so I end up getting divorced, start falling in love with yoga, start moving my body again. And then I realized during yoga, I'm like crying. I started crying, and I didn't understand what was happening because there wasn't really anything in my mind I was thinking about, but I was bawling my eyes out. And then I started to dive a little bit deeper into yoga, and I realized that there was a spiritual meaning behind it, that this was a very sacred practice, and this was a very old practice. Now, I didn't do a whole lot of research past that. Ooh, lightning and thunder. I don't know if you guys... Oh, that's nuts. It's been going on all day. It's really cool. I fucking love Florida. But anyway, so I start, really realizing like how much I had disassociated from myself. Because I was doing yoga and I was crying, but my body was crying, but there was no real emotion behind it. I was just confused. And then I realized that like I had really disassociated with my emotions. I wasn't allowing myself to cry freely. My body was the one that was kind of forcing it out. And then I was just so focused on having fun. Like, all I wanted to do was have fun because it was so miserable the last like 2.5 years of my life. And for those of you that don't know, like, before I decided to get divorced, I was ready to kill myself. I was genuinely like bottle in my hand on the bathroom floor, crying my eyes out, ready. And then something fucking snapped inside of me when my ex told me to just do it. Something snapped, like, and it was something inside of me where it was kind of in my solar plexus area where it was like, oh, you're gonna fucking tell me what to do again? Like, this is the last thing that's gonna happen? Absolutely not. And like, I got up, poured the bottle down the toilet, and something fucking lit on fire inside of me. And it was my utter goal to get this fucking man out of my life and erase him, and never look back. Because that was the second person that told me that I deserved to not be here. The first one was my adopted mom. When I told her about my ex-husband and she told me that I deserved it, blew my mind. And then the second time was him telling me to just follow through with this. And it felt fucking planned. It was nuts. But, yeah, something snapped. And then come December 2023, like fast forward past all the divorce, past like, you know, that December 2023, one of my friends I had reconnected with, her and I, in December of 2022, let me back up. I'm so sorry. December 2022, we had decided to take mushrooms together, like as a New Year's Eve thing, because we both weren't hanging out with people. We weren't doing anything. So I was like, let's do vision boards. And she goes, okay, you know, like I got shroomies. And I was like, fuck yeah, let's do it. Like, why not? And, it was amazing. And then, you know, 2023 comes and my year was amazing. So much fun. And like I was crossing things off of my vision board daily. And so come December 2023, we were like, fuck it, let's do this as a tradition. Let's do it again. And then New Year's Eve comes and it's the day, like it's not night. Okay, so we do like New Year's Eve day. And we take our little shroomies, and she lives by the river. So like we went down to the river, and oh my God, I'm just admiring Mother Nature for hours. I'm just admiring the rocks and the driftwood and the trees everywhere. And mind you, like there's like hardly any leaves on the trees because it's winter. So, and in Washington, and because it's Washington, it's gray. And so it's a little bit darker, and it just felt like I was seeing fairy portals everywhere. Like what I was like, oh, this looks like little fairy portals. And they felt fun and welcoming, and they were beautiful and colorful and kind of enchanted, you know, like you see the beginning of like fairy tales where it's like extravagant letters, the first letter of like the paragraph, right? The page. That's kind of like what it was like. It was fucking beautiful. And I was just I was just mesmerized, like, oh my God. And then we go back to her house. We had done our vision boards before this. So I was feeling really claustrophobic because she lives in a fifth wheeler and I love being outside during these moments. So I was like, you know, I gotta go sober up, and I'm gonna head home. And so I go outside, I like made myself vomit and was like, I'm so sober, it's good. And drove home in the right hand lane. And mind you, I was not doing it dangerously. I would have called an Uber had I felt dangerous. Like I'm not an irresponsible person without being irresponsible. So don't fucking come at me, okay? I was in a body high at this point. Like I was not seeing groovy shit. I promise. But I get home and I wasn't ready to go inside still. I was still feeling very euphoric at this point. So I tell my sister to get in and we go to our sunset spot. And there's this spot in Tacoma. It's on a big hill and it overlooks like the city. And it's just, again, so fucking beautiful. That place really, truly is beautiful. It's unfortunate the energy that's there. It's like a dome of just blech energy, you know? But nonetheless, like beautiful. So visit, please go visit. It's so gorgeous over there. And I was just feeling so fulfilled in that moment because I had my sister with me and we have so much fun together, and I'm seeing the most beautiful sunset, and I had just spent time with my friend, and this brand new year is coming. And I was actually in this, I was working with my first coach at this point, and so I was really excited for what the next year was bringing because I was about to enroll in a 40-day Kriya and call in abundance and just really fucking try this woo-woo stuff because nothing else was working, and I was tired of being broke. I was tired of being small. I started to believe in myself because of how much fun I was having, especially after such like I'm going to call it a near-death experience because I was like so ready. I can't even tell you how ready I was. Like I woke up in so much peace. Even though I was crying, it was such a peaceful cry. I was just at peace, or completely disassociated, we should say. And so then I was really confused right before January 1st. And that's another reason why I was like, let's do this as a ritual, because I was divorced, so I wasn't meant to be married. And for some of you, like, that's my second marriage, if y'all don't know that. Second marriage. Last marriage. And, you know, I wasn't meant to be a mom. I wasn't going to have kids, and the only step kid I had, like, wasn't my kid no more. So what is my fucking reason of being here? Like, I was like, what's my soul's purpose? Like, why am I here? Am I just, like, supposed to experience life? Because if so, like, let's go off the deep end. And I started to really, oh, there's an ant. And I started to really, like, question this. And so January 1st comes, and I'm doing a 40-day Kriya with my coach. And this is a very repetitive thing you do every day for 40 days. And it's different sounds, different movements, different mantras that you're saying out loud to call abundance into your life. I do have a clip of the Kriya on my YouTube. So you can, if you're on my YouTube page, you can go and check it out. It's got to be like the 4th or 5th video I ever did. And then it says a Kriya to call in abundance. And if you're on Spotify, you can go to my YouTube. It's at Mindful Musings 888. Anyways, so I do my Kriya, and then no shit, like, my dad passed away 3 days later after I started this. And I still continued my Kriya. By then I had kind of disassociated a little bit. Like, I felt my feelings for a period of time, like very brief period of time. Started this Kriya, dad dies. I start to disassociate again, and I did have a breakdown the night of, but then I just was fine. And then it started to hit me in, like, little small moments. And the more I did the Kriya, the more I started to unlock my heart, and the more I started to really feel again, because I'm moving my body in ways that I've never moved, and I'm stomping, I'm yelling, I'm like, hands to the sky. And I really start to feel this energy shift inside of me during this time. Like, I felt the energy shift, and I felt, which was a vibrational shift, because again, you're doing something consistent. You start to fucking believe in these mantras, and you start to, you start to feel different, and you start to notice synchronicities. At least this was my experience. And I started to question everything, because I grew up Christian. And it was really crazy, because from 7 to 15, I was going to an Assemblies of God church. Like, I was wholeheartedly in this. Like, I believed in God. I believed in everything that I was being told. Like, I was like a sponge. I was just, like, soaking it all up, right? And we had gone to a conference, and I was singing the songs, and of course, like, I'm wholeheartedly believing everything, and I'm singing the songs, and I'm singing at the top of my lungs. My hands are up like this, like, and I'm in this giant room of, like, hundreds of people. And all of a sudden, like, something came over me, and I started to speak like gibberish. It was like gibberish. And then I never spoke about it again. And I never talked to anybody about it. Nobody reacted. It wasn't, like, weird for anybody. And so I just kind of figured, like, nobody heard me. And I never spoke about it again. And I think at that point I was like, 13 or 14 years old. And then when I turned 15, I was adopted out, because I got kicked out of my foster home, or foster to adopt home, because I lost my virginity at 15. And I really shamed the family. And so they were like, yeah, you're not a good fit. And I was like, okay. And got adopted. And then fast forward back to after the Kriya. No, I'm so sorry. I started the Kriya, my dad died, and then I decided, like, I can't keep living in this house. So January 2025 comes, and I think I skipped Kriya this 1 year. I think I skipped the Kriya this year. And I remember looking at my sister and being like, okay, I've done a year in this house. Like, I can't keep living here. I was stressing us out. Like, there's nothing here in Washington. I can't stand the weather. The cold hurts my bones. It makes me angry. Blah, 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 blah. Right. She said, where do you want to go? I said, I don't know. I really thought about it. All right. So I took like a day to think about it. I told her, I'm moving. I don't know where. I'll let you know. Let me know if there's anywhere you want to go. And my baby. And so, mind you, I had traveled all over the country with my ex-husband, minus the northeastern states. But again, I don't like the cold, so I don't want to go there. And Florida kept popping into my mind, and I was like, fuck, the hurricanes though. Like, but Florida. Like, it just was like an alarm in my mind. And I was like, fuck it. Fuck it. Okay. So then the next day I told my sister, like, hey, I'm moving to Florida. You can come with me or you can stay here. Like, it's your decision, but this is what I'm doing. She goes, okay, I'm going to come with you. Fuck yeah. So then fast forward to March 2nd, 2025, we land in Florida and we're renting a house. And then I think it was like June or July, sister got a job. I'm still working the corporate job, and I decide, like, I'm opening a business. So, and I had filtered through Coach, like, oh, you can do this, Coach, you can do this, Coach, you can do this, Coach. I just knew that I was going to be coaching people because I wanted to be a therapist, but my dad was a therapist and I didn't agree with his therapy ways. And I have never had a good experience with therapy. So it just didn't feel right to me. So I never followed through with it. And, but being a coach seemed just as good. I'm still trying to help people as best as I can with what I can. And so then November 2025, I opened my business. But from the time that I moved to Florida, from the time that I decided to move to Florida, all the way to me launching my business, there were so many synchronicities. Everything was just falling into place. It was so easy. It was effortless. Like, it was like, oh, okay, let's sit down and look for a house. And then it was like, there's 3. Got a call the next day. And, it just worked. And then I started to realize, like, I've been manifesting things my whole life. I wanted to be an only child when I got adopted. Copper, you're okay, buddy. It's okay. He hears kids outside, and he's a grumpy old man. He's turning 11 this year. Anyways, so I wanted to be an only child when I got adopted. That happened. I had manifested my dad. I wanted a dad my whole life, and the foster to adopt dad was just not nice to me. Like, and I just knew, like, this isn't somebody I'm going to ever call dad. And then my dad adopted me, and again, like, I crawled into his lap when I told him I was going to get divorced, and it felt like I'd known him my whole life, plus some. Like, it wasn't weird. It was normal. It was just normal for me, and it healed me in ways that I can't even explain. Like, daddy wound, what fucking daddy wound. And I've been single for 3.5 years. Like, nobody has ever loved me better than me. I love me, and my dad taught me how to love myself, and I will forever have nothing but beautiful words for that man. And then I said my whole life, like, I'm going to travel all around the United States. Like, to me, that was my whole world. To me, I didn't think that there was anything bigger than that for me. I never thought that that was something that was possible for me. So the United States was, like, so big for me. And I did that. I did that, and it was beautiful. And I manifested working from home. There was one time I was driving to my administrative job at the dental office, and there was this gal walking her dog, and it was like 9:30, 10 a.m. And I remember looking at her and being like, I want to do that someday. I want to be able to walk my dog at like 10 a.m. on a random fucking Tuesday whenever I want. And I can do that. I do that. I do that whenever I want. And I manifested moving to Florida. I remember when I touched foot in Florida for the first time, 2016, I fell in love with it. I wasn't like, oh, I'm going to move here someday. And then my ex-husband and I went there in 2020 or 2021, doesn't matter. And I remember trying to convince him to move there with me, and he said no. And I was really bummed. But here I am living in Florida now. And I actually manifested my sister coming back into my life. My whole life, wanted to be close to my sisters, and to me, the only one I connected with was my middle sister. And comes to find out, like, we have nothing in common, so we don't talk. And but my youngest sister, who I'd never connected with until almost 4 years ago now, she's like my mini me. We always say, like, we're the same letter, different fonts. And now she's my best friend, and that's what I wanted my whole life, was like my sister to be my best friend. So, and then one of the other things is like my animals. I remember telling my ex-husband all the time, like, I want to like rescue the dogs. I want to rescue the cats. I want to have a shelter. Like, I want to do this. And got shut down every time. He would say all the time, like, these are the last two animals you're ever going to have. And I was always so fucking bummed. I was like, God, I felt so crushed. And so now I had 4 dogs and a cat, and my dad's dog, he really deserved more attention, and he deserved what he wanted. And so I made sure he was an only dog, and he's living his best life now. So now I've got 3 dogs and a cat, and I've found homes for animals, and it's really been amazing. And I fed outdoor animals when they really needed it, and rescued buggies, and I'm living my highest life. So that's when I started to realize, like, holy shit, this energy thing that I'm learning about is, like, real. And so when I realized that, like, I was manifesting everything, I started to, like, seriously question everything I was ever taught. Like, I questioned everything I knew. I questioned everything that was coming across my path. Like, it was actually a very tumultuous time for me. It was a very confusing time because of everything. Like, I wanted to know the truth, and it felt like an abyss I was jumping into. Like, it was like I would research one thing, and then I'd have questions about the next thing, and then the next thing, and then the next thing. And I wanted to know, like, everything. I wanted to know everything. And then I started to come across, like, topics about astral projection and Christ consciousness, and I started to learn deeper meanings of the 7 chakras, and started to dive deeper into childhood trauma and the frequencies and extraterrestrials, and, like, the pyramids of Giza, and conspiracy theories and quantum leaping. Like, I dove down the fucking rabbit hole. And my interest was it was completely peaked. Like, it was so peaked because I was coming across, like, Joe Dispenza at this point. Then I'm coming across, like, Shannon Blake, and then I'm coming across Sky Cowan. I hope I'm saying your last name right, Sky. And all of their different experiences. Because that's the thing. It's like, you can read articles, you can read journals, you can read, hi honey, you can read about, like, different theories and stuff. But for me, ooh, your farts are stinky. So sorry, you guys. But for me, I go off of, like, somebody telling a story, like, and it's because I've always been very in tune with energy, and I also grew up in the foster care system, so I'm always on high alert, and I'm studying you as you're telling the story. So, like, I'm listening to your story, but I'm looking at your eye movements, I'm looking at your body language, I'm feeling your energy, I'm listening to your words, I'm listening to your tone. And yes, this is a trauma response, but I've learned how to use it in a way that is very positive for my experience and my intuition. Because I grew up very gullible. I grew up believing everything I was told, and not to question things, and not to say no, and just to shake your head and go, yep, totally believe that. Yep, I totally understand. Yep, read that. Yep, following the rules, And so my mind was, like, fucking blown open. And then I started to learn, like, way deeper about, like, quantum leaping, and I started to learn about the infinite timelines and, like, Joe Dispenza's work, and how he's, like, talked about firsthand accounts. And I genuinely, I started to realize early on, and then came back to myself, that I practice non-duality, which means, this is going to really piss people off, so just, like, don't come for my head. This is just my belief system. You get to believe whatever you want to believe. I'm not going to hate on you, I promise. But I don't believe in right and wrong. I don't believe in good and bad. I believe in balance. I believe in dark and light. I believe in, I know some people say yin and yang, but I like to say yin and yang. I'm sorry if that's wrong. It just feels right to me. Um, I believe in the feminine and masculine, the balance, like the balance. It matters. And with that being said, I 100% believe that if somebody's doing something with love in their heart and they truly fucking believe that what they're doing is right, who are you to convince them that they're wrong? You don't know their experience. Now, with that being said, do I think that it's okay to hurt other humans? Fuck no, dude. Fuck no. Do I not agree with it? Because I don't feel that way. But that doesn't mean that somebody's fucking wrong. It just means that they're functioning in the wrong society and they need to go find a place where that's acceptable, wherever the fuck that is. Right? Now, I'm not sitting here saying it's bad. I'm just sitting here saying I don't agree with it. That's not my, it's not my preference. It's not my preference of living. And a lot of people really get pissed when I say that. Now, here's the catch-22. If you are doing something in a society that the majority of that society does not agree with, there's going to be consequences for doing that, right? So the consequence is you're going to fucking go to jail for extended periods of time, or, when some places, I guess they're doing the death penalty or whatever, like you're in that society, that they don't agree with us. So why are you fucking doing it? Right? Now, I do believe that these people should heal their childhood, because healing my childhood trauma is what has changed my present and my future, because the habits that I had created all stemmed from what happened to me in my childhood. My body went into fight or flight mode. I functioned in fight or flight mode every day, walking on eggshells for the duration of my 20s. All of that time, because of something that happened to me all the way back then. So any time that I felt like I was in a situation, somebody's tone changed, the energy shifted, my body immediately was like, that's going to happen again. 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 And I was always fucking prepared for the worst, because it felt like the worst was happening to me all the time. All right. And so because I felt like the worst was happening to me all the time, that's all I was seeing in my reality, is that more bad was coming, more bad was coming. Anyways, I went on a whole tangent there. Do I believe that people need to pay for their decisions that are unfavorable in a society? Yes. But that doesn't mean that I'm going to sit here and tell them that they're wrong. I'm going to tell them that they're acting this way because of something that happened in their childhood. And when you heal that part of them, then they're going to fucking understand why you don't agree with that. Now, are they going to agree with you? Who fucking knows? Who knows? Experience shapes people, but, at least they would understand, hopefully. Now, that's in a perfect world. That's in a perfect world. We don't live in a perfect world, but that's my perfect world. Anyways, that's why I don't believe in right or wrong. And I know a lot of you are going to come from my head, and that's fucking okay. This is just my belief. And to practice non-duality means that I just really try to see all sides of things. And I'm only here to understand. I'm not here to tell people that they're right or wrong, that they're good or bad. I'm merely here to fucking understand and have my own experience here. And my experience is I'm just trying to spread as much love as possible. I'm not here to spread hate. I am not here to make you feel less than or devalue what you believe. That's not at all. We are all supposed to live in harmony and spread love. That's my belief. And the more that I have let myself explore these topics, the more I've developed an actual belief system that feels good to my body. It feels good to me. It feels right to me. I'm not sitting here preaching at people, and this is why I've hidden, I'm not going to cry. This is why I've hidden this part of myself for so long, is because I was really persecuted when I was a Christian. I was shit on a lot, and I would get called a Bible thumper, and I just really felt so fucking confused, because as a Christian, I couldn't understand why I was going through so much pain when a God was supposed to love me and his beautiful creation. It was very confusing for me. And so I haven't shared this giant part of my life, which is also a part of my daily practices. And it's been very difficult for me to navigate because I haven't wanted to piss people off and I haven't wanted to hurt people's feelings. And I haven't wanted people to call me crazy, but a lot of you are going to think I'm crazy when I tell you that I have quantum leapt and I know how. And when I tell you that I do believe in extraterrestrials and I do believe in channeling and light language and sound healing and frequencies and energy. And I do believe in all of this. I do believe in it. And I do feel old and I don't feel like I'm from this planet. I do feel like I'm having a fucking human experience. And the more that I come across, the more curious I become in the most beautiful way. And I want that for other people. And that's another reason I've opened up my podcast, is because I want other people to express themselves in a safe place where they're not going to be persecuted and they're not going to feel invalidated. They're not going to feel crazy. They're not going to be called crazy, because I don't tolerate that. I've been called crazy so many times in my life for the different experiences that I've had, and I'm fucking over it. So this is me blowing the top and saying that, like, yes, I speak light language. Yes, I believe in extraterrestrials. Yes, I do believe in spirit guides. Yes, I do believe in tarot readings. Yes, I do believe in gifts. Yes, I do believe in the power that humans have inside of them. Yes, I do believe that there's other beings outside of this planet. And I exercise every fucking conspiracy theory out there because I won't know. I won't know if it's true or false, but it makes the story more fucking fun. So why not entertain it? Why not? Why not see both sides of it and go, all the sides here are like really convincing. I talk about that with people, and it drives people like away so fast when I start talking about the earth. Like, it pisses people off, and it really drives me, because I can entertain all the sides. I'm not sitting here being like, this is what it is and this is what it is, because I don't fucking know. I'm not seeing it with my eyes. But it's fun to think about. And it's fun to think about giants, and it's fun to think about giant trees, and it's fun to think about different types of humans that live and different types of extraterrestrials that might be among us. And it's fun to think about fairies and mermaids, and it's fun to think about these things existing like dragons. It's fun. And the whole point of the human experience is to fucking have fun. So why did we stop having fun? And I'm not going to hide this part of myself anymore. So this is me sharing this. You can say what you want, but this is my life. And I think I'm fucking cool, and I'm so down to earth, and I'm accepting, and I love that I can literally talk to any human here and be completely engrossed into their story, because every story is so unique and beautiful, and it's not my own. It's not my own. And what's really cool is that my imagination and the way that I can visualize things is so vivid that when you tell me a story, I can picture it in my mind. And the more detailed you are, the more lost I become. And it's the most beautiful feeling I've ever felt in my entire life. This is why I'm a movie buff. This is why I love movies, which brings me to my quantum leap. This is how I know I quantum leapt. I started to dive into Joe Dispenza's work, and I really started to fuck with it. Like, why not? Now, when you dive into Joe Dispenza's work, on your social media, shit like it and people like him are going to come across your feed. And that happened to me. And so I really started to hone in on my beliefs, and I started to really, really hone in on regulating my nervous system. I corrected my diet. I started doing affirmations. I started to meditate every day. And specifically in the morning, the first thing I do when I wake up, I've been out of practice the last few days, so don't come for me. But what I was doing, and what I'm going to get back to doing, is when I first wake up in the morning, before I can function, I turn on a meditation, or I will silently meditate and try to do that for as long as possible, because of the brain waves that you're functioning at. You know, anybody can come from my head and say, well, that's not real. It's fine. That's your experience with it. But my experience is very real to me. And it's been a very profound experience. And I've had a lot of shit happening for me. And I've connected to my body and to my feelings so much more. And the cool thing is I started learning about astral projection. And I've gotten this close. I've gotten this fucking close. And but my sister's dog barked and like jolted me. But I will get there, and I will keep you updated on those people that are interested in astral projection. When I nail it, I will let you know. I'm still learning. But I started to learn about this stuff. Now, I tried a quantum leap once, and I think because I wasn't where I am now, it didn't work. My belief system wasn't like 100%. Like, I wasn't believing with full conviction. I was kind of like, well, let's just like try, right? Let's just like try. And then I became adamant of like, okay, everybody is talking about this. Let's fucking do this, dude. Like, you can do anything. And so after the second time, this was just very recently, like this last week. I attempted it again, and then it was either the next day or 2 days later, my sister and I went to watch a movie because I didn't think anything of it. I was just like, oh, maybe it didn't take again, whatever. Like, just went about my day, and I've been focusing on chasing my happiness and my joy. And my sister and I went to watch a movie, and then I saw the New Age Flatliners from 2017. And I was like, oh, Flatliners, I wanted to show you that movie. And then I was like, wait, this isn't it. Let's go. We turned it on, and I was like, you know what, this one's kind of cheesy. It's newer. Like, let's go watch the original Flatliners. And so then she goes to look it up, pulls it up. I said, oh, no, this isn't right. It shows Kevin Bacon, Julia Roberts, and I don't know, some other actors. And I was like, oh, no, that's not right. No, that's not the right cast. Like, maybe this is a remake. Maybe it's from the 80s and it's not from the 90s. Let's look and see if we can find the other version. Those are the only two versions. Now, I'm telling you right now, James Spader was in the fucking version of Flatliners that I've seen twice in my life. I've seen this movie twice in my life. I vividly remember. It's the same story, just a whole different fucking cast. Like, literally the same story, just a different cast completely. Like, in the version that I watched, Julia Roberts was not in it. James Spader was in it. Those are the only two. And the only reason I even remember this is because I had the biggest crush on him. Like, I had the biggest crush on him in this movie. And in that first moment, I was like, I'm going fucking crazy. I'm going crazy. This is nuts. Like, there's just no way. And then I was like, maybe it's a Mandela effect thing. You know, like the Totinos and Fruit of the Loom and, like, you know, the different shit out there. I was like, okay, I got on Threads and I posted a thread, and nope, everybody remembers this version. And I was like, oh fuck, it's a me thing. Oh shit, it's a me thing. And then I started to sit with it, and then I started to, this is what came in my mind, was like, you quantum leapt. And I was like, what? And then it was like, no, you like successfully quantum leapt. Because I was really focused on, I did visualization and meditation. I actually recorded it. I recorded the fucking meditation. Oh my God, I'm just now realizing that. I recorded the meditation that I did. I do mirror meditations. Now, I had done the mirror hypnotherapy on myself, and then I did the meditation. I recorded it and posted it on YouTube. And I think I also posted on my TikTok. And it fucking worked. It fucking worked. And blew my mind. I thought I was crazy though for a period of time, and then the peace set in, and then the realization set in. And again, you guys can come from my head. I don't care. This is my belief. This is my experience in this life, and that's something you can't take from me. And if this makes you uncomfortable, like, I apologize. That's not at all what I'm trying to do. Nor am I trying to sit here and say that anybody's belief system is wrong. I don't believe that anybody's belief system is wrong. I think that you have to just chase what feels good to you, as long as it's not harming other humans. Like, that's my rule of thumb. Like, if you're not harming other humans or yourself, and what you do feels good to you, okay, like, do you, boo? You know, that's your unique expression. And, you know, I've had just so many synchronicities since then, like, so many synchronicities, and I just feel so good, and I feel different. I feel lighter. I feel more confident. I feel more at peace. I trust myself more. Now, onto the parasites. So with this newfound thing, right, before this quantum leap, like a month and a half ago now, my sister and I got this parasite because I started to dive into my spirituality. I wanted to start taking care of my health. And so my sister and I, we had been eating like vegetables like broccoli and cauliflower and carrots and green beans and peas and stuff. But then we wanted something simple. So I was like, hey, let's just like go back to eating salad. Go ahead and just like pick up a head of lettuce and let's just have a simple salad with dinner tonight, whatever it was. And then about 3-4 days later, I started to have like this anxious feeling in my belly. And I was about to go to a meeting with a wellness center. So I was like, oh, maybe it's just like nerves, whatever. And then I got like kind of tired. And I was like, maybe I didn't like, maybe I was working in my sleep because I used to do that. And again, like a meeting, whatever, it's new. And then on the way back from the meeting, I was so tired. I was like almost falling asleep at the wheel. I was exhausted. Like my body started to feel exhausted. My brain was so foggy. And like, I just was like starting to like fall asleep. Like I was like struggling to stay awake. And I had to, I was like, this is crazy. And so then I started to take a nap, right? I started to nap. Then I lost my appetite, which was really weird for me because it was the week before my period, which is when I'm like, I'm like shoveling fucking anything in sight into my face. And not really, but like, gotta be dramatic. Anyway, so then, like 1, 2, 3 days go by and I'm like, no appetite. I'm struggling to drink water. I'm struggling to stay awake. I was like clocking in for work and I wasn't able to get anything done. Like my brain was so foggy and I was like, this is nuts. My sister then sent me an article about the parasite in the lettuce. And I was like, no, that happened. Read the symptoms. I was like, yep, okay. And I just knew I did not want to go back to the doctor. I don't want to go into a clinic. Like I don't want to put anything in my body that's going to just destroy everything. Like that's not okay. I've taken plenty of antibiotics and gotten plenty of UTIs and infections and I'm freaking over it. Right. And so yes, I'm wearing a giant t-shirt. It's my thing. Don't judge me. So then I was like, okay, there's got to be a holistic way to do this. Like parasites have been around for eons. And ironically, my sister and I, for months, have been talking about doing a parasite cleanse. And we just never committed to it because of our fucking addiction to sugar. And I swear to God, like they say that the stomach overrides the brain. And that's so true because I am a strong-willed Aries. Like when I want something, I put my mind to it and I get it. Damn it. Like I get what I want or better. That's how my life has always been. Again, synchronicities, right? Manifestations. And so for me not to be able to like curb this sugar addiction was nuts. Like I'd be adamant and then I'd go a day and be like, yeah, I'm fucking doing it. And then the next day I couldn't help but gorge. It was nuts. And I would be doing it. I'm like, I don't understand why this is happening. Like, I don't want to be eating. I don't want to be doing this. And then it just felt like I was like, it was fucking nuts. And so then this happens and I was like, oh great. Then I got really scared. Because I knew nothing. I like know nothing about parasites and now there's a very high possibility that we have one. And then I got really nervous because I gave my dogs lettuce. But luckily for us, I guess it was a lettuce from a different place. So fuck yeah, but we didn't eat that lettuce because it was old. And then I found a few ingredients that are known to kill the larvae, the eggs, and like the full-blown worm, like the parasite itself. Like, and then an ingredient that paralyzes them as well. And so we go to the local, like I call it the local woo-woo shop. We go to a local woo-woo shop. We get the ingredients, get like a 20-minute lecture on how to brew the tea for this. And then I ended up just like looking up my own recipe because I needed the measurements because this, I don't know a whole lot about this. So I'm doing the research. I'm learning about the different ingredients and what cancels each other out, what you need to do together, what you need to brew separately, how frequently and how like infrequently to do it because you can like hurt yourself by drinking it too much. And so And it said 2 to 3 weeks. You have to do this for 2 to 3 weeks. You have to watch your diet. You can't be eating cane sugar. It said no alcohol, no cane sugar, and no white flour. So that was tough for us. But we committed 2.5 solid weeks. And then on that last half, we were like, okay, let's eat some bread. Like, I really wanted bread. And so now I'm on the other side of it, and I don't crave sugar. I enjoy a dessert. But I don't crave it. I can stop whenever I want. Like, I have the self-control back. And, but it was crazy. My diet was very crazy. I did not like it. I didn't like how my body felt. And, it's just crazy that you do manifest what you want. And it's typically in ways that you don't really expect. But the lethargy was fucking real, dude. Like, but that's the thing, is like, after this experience, I was like, okay, I believe 100% in plant medicine. Like, it really is healing. And I really do believe in the herbal aspects of this and the healing aspects of this. And it's really important what you believe, to hone in on your belief system, because where you put your energy is where energy is going to flow. So if you're constantly focused on, this doesn't work, this isn't going to work, then it's not. But if you believe it's going to work, then it's going to work. Like, that's my experience with it, at least. So again, you can come from my head, but this is just my experience. And so it's been a crazy wild ride for me. And I felt like I've been asking myself what's standing in my way from my business being successful and booming, and from people engaging and wanting to talk with me. Pardon me. I'm talking so much that my throat's dry. I just kept asking myself, like, what's getting in my way, right? I'm getting in my own way. I've been so scared to share this part of myself with people for fear of rejection, for fear of being seen. But I've been healing these wounds in the background for weeks now. And my lovely, beautiful soul friend, yes, her name is Soul, has called me out on my shit. And I've also been called out by 2 other beautiful women that they are mediums, and they both called me out and said, you need to share this with your audience. Like, you need to start sharing this part of yourself. It's your ticket. So here I am telling you that I do believe in all these things, and I have felt them to be true in my own life, and I've manifested so many beautiful things. And these are things that I do cover with the right people. And I do now offer coaching services. That's why I changed my name to a life coach now. I'm not a mindset coach. Ooh, raunchy fart, Magnolia. Holy shit. We changed their diet to all natural diet. No more kibble. And, oh my God. You guys see my icky face. Whew. Anyways, so I just feel like I need to really, like, share this part of myself with people. And I can coach you through some of this stuff, because it's worked for me my whole life. And it's really fucking cool that I get to say that like, I've been doing this my whole life unknowingly. I took a lot of detours along the way, and I had to go through a lot of paths to find myself and for self-discovery. And that, again, is why I have a 10-week self-discovery program. And it's self-development, because yourself is there on the inside. But when I went through and healed my wounds, which manifested in my childhood, and I crushed my limiting beliefs, I have been able to find what feels good to me. And I want that for anybody I come across. So if you do want to be a guest on my podcast because you want to talk about something and you want to release something, or you want to share something with the world that you're very scared to do, like, my podcast is a safe place for you to do that. I truly believe that everybody's story should be heard and deserves to be heard. And I want to give you a place for that. And a lot of people charge for this, and I'm not charging. I just want you to have a safe place to find your authentic self. And if you don't want me to coach you, I at least would love to have you on my podcast. If you do want to learn how to manifest, you want to learn how to heal your inner child so that you can move forward in your life, you want to learn about any of the things that I've talked about, or you feel really really called forward. You know, I want you to reach out to me because I do offer one-on-one coaching services. Like, you don't have to go through a 10-week program. You can just work with me one-on-one on what you want to focus on. But a lot of what I do is inner child work, because a lot of the times what is being triggered is something that happened in our childhood. At least I have found that to be true. And when I healed my inner child, I was able to find myself and find all these different facets and find my beliefs and my hobbies. And I learned how to love myself and trust myself and stop looking externally for every fucking answer. You know the answer. You just have to learn how to follow your intuition again. I learned how to do that. It's something I teach. I have ADHD, so I'm a jack of so many trades, and I'm ready to share that with the world. So I can't wait to hear from you. I hope that this made you feel safe. And if you feel called out or you're pissed off, like, I apologize that I do that, but that's not my intention. Again, this is just me, my experience, my beliefs. I love you so much, and I cannot wait to see you back here. Ta-ta.